been a decade since I watched the first Freightliner Inspiration autonomous truck roll across the Hoover Dam. And in the intervening 10 years, autonomous truck developers have repeatedly promised us that soon self-driving trucks will go into production and begin moving freight on American highways. Hasn't happened yet, but after a week of attending the ACT Expo show in Anaheim, California, it looks to me like we are very, very close to the dawning of trucking's autonomous age. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Hey everybody, I'm Jack Roberts. Welcome to another edition of Off Duty Driver. And as I just said, I'm back from spending all week in Anaheim, California at the Advanced Clean Transportation Expo. ACT Expo has become one of the most important trucking shows in the world, actually. It is an excellent barometer on understanding how technology and the North American trucking industry are coming together in ways that are going to transform how freight moves forever. Everything from powertrains to, as we said, digital freight and autonomous vehicles. Like a lot of people, I had some questions heading into ACT Expo this year. This is a show that has largely in the past been focused on emissions regulations, CARB in particular. And you know what that means on the ground. If you're media covering the show, that means a lot of press briefings on battery electric vehicles, alt fuel vehicles, and the associated infrastructure or lack thereof, usually. That was all thrown into chaos late last fall when Donald Trump was reelected to the White House. Unlike a lot of his political predecessors, Trump is actually moving fairly aggressively to roll back a lot of CARB regulations. And, there was some question as to what the content at ACT Expo would be this year. What were people going to talk about? But there's more to trucking than just CARB. And so the show and the industry at large seem to have taken this political turn of events in stride. I did detect a little uncertainty in a lot of the keynote addresses. These are generally delivered by OEMs, CEOs, and that's understandable. Nobody really knows what the hell is going on right now. But overall at the show, I did see a renewed emphasis on natural gas as a clean truck fuel, something I've been writing about for a couple of years now. And interestingly, autonomous trucking has become a big talking point. In fact, I was taken aback at how often the subject of autonomous trucks came up unsolicited during the show. During the week I was in California, I had separate conversations with PACCAR, Hyundai, Plus, Volvo, and International, all concerning the pending advent of autonomous truck technologies. These companies and many others that we cover on truckinginfo.com are moving very deliberately to get self-driving technology right before they introduce it into serial production. And of course, the main reason is it's been incredibly difficult to perfect. There are lives at stake. This has to be flawless when it rolls out. So the developers are really working hard to get comfortable with the technology before they unroll it and literally unleash it on public roads all over the country. The fact is, though, that even 10 years ago, when I saw the Freightliner Inspiration truck, the self-driving aspect of autonomous technology worked astoundingly well. I mean, the first time I sat behind the wheel of an autonomous truck, completely hands-off, was 10 years ago in heavy Las Vegas traffic on, I think it was I-5 just north of the city. The truck performed flawlessly, even then. So I think there's been a lot of work, not necessarily on the control side of the equation, but a lot has happened in that time. They've been fine-tuning the control systems, but in the intervening 10 years, artificial intelligence has become a thing. That has had to be incorporated into the control systems. And I think what has really been overlooked is that there's been a lot of work developing an entirely new autonomous infrastructure that will support self-driving trucks when they make their prime debut. We're talking about a digital freight network that will be unlike anything the world has ever seen before. It is a system so new and complex that increasingly what I'm hearing from OEM and developers is this isn't going to be an out-of-the-box project that they're just going to turn over to the fleets and say, have fun, see ya. It's really the developers and the OEMs are going to be deeply involved in the initial early stages of autonomous trucks. That's where the bulk of the development work has been focused, I think. And so I think what you're going to see when the products roll out is it's not going to be so much a product as it's going to be a service that is actively managed by OEMs and developers, as opposed to a product, like I said, that stands on its own. Another important point on this journey has been societal acceptance of autonomous trucks. I remember way back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I was a young editor on a construction magazine, and an engineer at Caterpillar told me, even in those days, he said, we can run a fully autonomous dozer on a job site today, but the local cops would be flooded with calls about a runaway dozer from a public that was freaking out. So I think that's another reason, is that they're going to ease this technology in slowly. Now, I've been in autonomous trucks on the highway. Nobody pays any attention to trucks. I think if you had tinted windows on the truck and maybe some lighting systems, I really don't think people would really notice an autonomous truck the way they would have 10 years ago. And that's because we've largely, as a society, been prepped pretty well over the past decade, understanding that, hey, this is coming. The timelines have shifted. Was it going to be 5 years? What is it going to be 10 years? Obviously, it looks like it's going to be a lot closer to 10 years. But like I said, it really jumped out at me at the interviews and conversations I had at Expo that we are really, really finally getting very close to the first wide-scale deployment of autonomous trucks in commercial fleet operations. How soon? I'm confident saying inside of 2 years. I really expect it to be very soon. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some actual vehicle rollouts later this year, frankly. I mean, we're quibbling over details. The fact is the trucks are running in testing operations on public roads all over Texas, all over the Southwest. So really, we're just sort of talking about a nomenclature, a shift in nomenclature. Who's running the trucks is really going to be the only thing that really changes. It'll shift away from a sort of controlled experimental business model to, okay, these are fleets. It's still experimental. We're still learning, but the trucks are actually going to work and working. That's going to happen very, very soon. And I think that when this happens, I think the impact on our society and economy is going to be really fast and massive. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Be really excited to hear what you guys think about the advent of autonomous trucking. Until next time, I'm Jack Roberts. You've been watching Off Duty Driver. And as always, I'm telling you to hold them in the road out there.